So hello friends, welcome to my channel. So this is our today's daily problem on Leetcode, and the question is longest subarray of ones after deleting one element. So basically you have given a binary array nums and you should delete one element from it. So basically we have this binary array, which means it contains 0 and 1 only, and we have to delete one element from it. And after deleting, return the size of longest non-empty subarray containing ones only. Okay, so let us see the test cases. This is our test case number 1. So basically we have to delete any one element. So let us say we have deleted one element, and after that we have to maximize, we have to return the size of sub array which contains one only, and its size should be maximum. So here in this case we have two sub array with us, and the size corresponding to all those sub array is going to be 1. So the maximum size is also 1. Okay, so let us see if we have deleted another element. If I have deleted this element right now, and let us delete this element. So if we delete this element, then our subarray will be like this, and the size corresponding to this subarray is going to be 3. So you can see that it is maximum of that 1 and 3. So our answer is going to be 3. Okay, so you can see that answer is going to be 3. So let us see for our second case. So this is our second case, and one more thing you should notice here, that if we delete one, so basically I have deleted one here, and corresponding to 1 you got answer 1, and when you deleted 0 you get answer as a 3. So you can see that if we delete 1, if we are going to delete 1, so if we delete 1, what is going to happen? If we delete 1, our answer is going to reduce. Size of that subarray is going to reduce, and it is logically correct because the subarray we want should contain 1 only. And if we are deleting that 1, so basically we are deleting the size of subarray. So in order to solve this thing, we will not delete our 1, instead we will delete 0 only. So for the test case 2, we will delete 0 only and we will check for our answer. So if we delete the first 0, so for the first 0, when we deleted first 0, the answer is going to be maximum of 3 to 1. So the answer is going to be 1. So for the first 0, answer is 3. Okay, and let us solve for the second 0. This is our second 0, and if we deleted the second 0, okay, so answer will be 5. So for the second 0, this is our sub array, and answer corresponding to these two sub array is going to be 5. So for second deletion, for deletion of second 0, answer is going to be 5. And let us do the same for the deletion of third 0. So this is our third 0, and if we delete this third 0, the answer is going to be this subarray and this subarray, and the size corresponding to the both the subarray, the maximum size is going to be 3. So answer is going to be 3. So among all deletion, this deletion will give us our maximum answer, and answer is going to be 5. So basically the thing that is to be noticed here is that first we have to delete one only. So basically what we have to do, so first thing that I have noticed here, we have to delete 0 only, and in case we don't have 0, we will delete 1. So basically if we don't have any kind of 0 with us, so like in this case you can see that if we don't have 0 with us, this is our initial array, and if we don't have 0 with us, so basically we have to remove one element. So we can remove any one, and our answer is going to be uh, uh, size less than the initial size. So answer is going to be n minus 1. So where n is the initial size of data array. So we will see those cases further, but the first thing that is to be noticed here is that we have to delete only 0. So, and the second thing is that you can see that if we delete a particular 0, the answer is going to be number of 1 after it and number of 1 before it. So what does this exactly mean? So when I am telling number of 1 after it, what does it mean? So you can see that number of 1, this is our current 0, so I am going to write here current, and number of 1 after it means number of 1 after it but before the next 0. So this is our next 0. So let us denote it with another color. So I will write it with another color, let's say blue. So this is our next 0. Okay, and if we don't have our previous 0, then it's fine. So basically we what we are going to do, we are if we delete this 0, basically what we are going to do, we are going to add we are going to merge two subarrays. So this subarray, and if there is any subarray here, so basically if we delete this 0, we are going to merge these two subarray. Okay, so the answer corresponding to these two merging is number of 1 after this current 0 but before this next 0, and number of 1 before this current 0 and after the previous 0. So for this case there is no previous 0, so number of 1 before this number before this 0 is 0, and number of 1 after this current index but less than but before this next 0 is going to be 3. So our when we delete this current 0, when we delete this current 0, our answer is 3. So you can see that our answer is going to be 3. So the thing of previous and next will be cleared better when we talk about our second index, okay, or second 0. So basically when we are on second 0, this is our current 0. Okay, so for this current 0, what is our second next 0? So this is going to be our next 0, and this is going to be our previous 0. So you can see that number of 1 after this current 0 but before the next 0, it is 2, and number of 1 before this current 0 and after the previous 0. So this is current 0 and after this previous 0, so it is basically 3. So answer is going to, we are going to submerge, we are going to merge these two subarray. So these two subarray has size 3 and 2 respectively. So this is having size 3 and this is having size 2. So basically we are going to merge these two subarrays, and the answer is nothing but 5. And for this case also you can see that number of 1, and for the this 0 you can see that the previous is, this is the current 0, and if we don't have any next 0, we will write the last element as next. So this is our next index, as just we have done here for the previous. If we don't have any uh, previous 0, we will write the last element as the previous, and sorry, first element as a previous, and similarly we will write the last element as the next, and the previous 0 was this, so this is going to be our previous. And you can see that number of 1 after this current, so it is going to be 1, and before this current but after the previous 0 is going to be 2. So the sum is going to be 2 plus 3, 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. So this is our answer. So basically we are going to store number of 1 before a 0 and after a 0 such that uh, 1 should be after the previous 0 and 1 should be before the after next 0. So basically we are going to write all those things, and let us try to code it. So basically we will first count number of 1. Okay, so for it I am going to iterate over nums, and okay, so if our counting is 0, which means we don't have any 1, so basically we will return 0. Okay, so if we have a if we have an array which contains 0 only, and you perform any kind of deletion but you will not get any extra one, so that the answer is going to be 0. And if our count is n. Okay, and I am going to write here n is nothing but nums dot size. Okay, so if our count of 1 is n, means array contains 1 only, so I have discussed that case also here. So in this case our answer is going to be n minus 1, so return n minus 1. And otherwise what we will do, we will store 1 after the 0, our current 0, and 1 before the current 0. So we will store it in two vectors. So our vectors are 1 after, which is having size n and it is initialized with 0, and 1 before, again it is n comma 0. Also we have a pointer previous, so anti-prev, and initially it is 0. So basically we are, first we will find our 1 before. Okay, so for this our, for the zeroth element, the 1 before is going to be 0. So you can see that this is our zeroth element, and for this zeroth element 1 before is nothing but going to be 0. Okay, so 1 before is going to be 0, and then we will iterate from 1 to the last element. And if we got our nums of I as 0, then we will store the things, and answer we will check for two cases. So I have to, okay, so what if the previous value is 1? So let us check here and try to solve it. So basically this is our first case, and so basically this is our current 0. So this operation is going to work when nums of I is 0. So this is nums of I is 0, and we have iterated from this part. So from this part we are going here, and now we are on 0. So basically this was our previous. Okay, and this is our next. Okay, so when the previous is 1, the answer is going to be current minus previous. So current is nothing but I, and previous is P. So if the previous is 1, so for this case our answer is going to be I minus previous. Okay, so I will write here that if nums of previous is 1, then our answer is going to be, so 1 before for the I is going to be I minus prev. And else what will be our answer? So if this is going to is 0, then answer is going to be I minus P minus 1. So you can see that for 1 before I is equal to I minus prev minus 1, and we have to update the value of our previous. So when we move further, this 0 is going to be, this 0 is going to become previous. So our previous will be updated, and this 0 will become previous. So I will write here previous is equal to I, and this way, in this way we have got 1 before and now 1 after. So for 1 after I will declare a variable next, and it will be n minus 1. It will be initialized with n minus 1, and for our last number, 1 after for the last number is nothing but 0. So you can see that 1 after for the last number, this is our last number, and after this there is no element. So 1 after for the last number is going to be 0, and again I will iterate, but for this time I will iterate in reverse manner. And for what we will do, so for this case what we are going to do, so this is our 1101. So I have here on current, and this is our next. So for this what I am going to do, if the next is 1, so if next is 1, so what I am going to do, answer is nothing but next minus I. Okay, so you can see that for this case answer is nothing but 1. And what if the next is, so I will write here, if nums of next is 1, then 1 after is nothing but next minus I. Otherwise, what will be our answer? So you can see that if we have 0 with us here, so if next is 0, the answer is going to be 0. So n minus I minus 1. It is very similar to that of previous part. So whatever we have done here, the same thing is we are doing here, and the difference is that we are just iterating in reverse manner. Here we have iterated in the forward way, but here we have iterated over the reverse manner. So 1 after for I in this case is next minus I minus 1, and again we will update our next. So I will write here uh, updating our previous, and here also updating our next. Okay, so in this way we got uh, one after and one before for each 0. So basically now we have one after and one before for each 0. So what we have to do now, so you can see that basically we were in the motto that we have to get sum of one before and one after. So basically for the zeroth, for this first 0, the answer is going to be 3 plus 0 is 3. For this second 0, it will be 5, and for the third 0, it is again 3. So basically we will have the sum of number of 1 before it and number of 1 after it, and we will maximize it. So basically again I will iterate through this nums. Okay, and if nums of I is 0, then what we will do, we will get the sum of number of 1 after it and number of 1 before it. So 1 after I plus 1 before I, and to maximize it we will take a variable anti-maxi is equal to 0. So this will be our final answer after maximizing what, maximizing sum. Okay, so this is our sum, and now we will maximize it. So here I have maximized it, and finally we will return our maxi. So I don't think so there is any kind of mistake here. So I have in this thing I have created, I have stored the previous one, and here I have stored the next one, uh, and here I got the sum for each 0, and after that I have maximized it and returned it. So let us check whether the code works or not. Hmm, I don't know what is the problem here. So this case is passing, this case is passing, but this case is not passing. I don't know why. So let us check what is our error. So this is our next, and I have updated here next, and I have done the sum. Okay, so what is the problem? I have updated previous here also. Okay, so let us check what is the error. So these types of error are there sometimes. So do one thing now, let us print what we have calculated here. So after that we will able to find our error. So basically I am going to print our one after. Okay, and one before also. Okay, so I'm just checking what is the error here, because I don't think so I have done anything wrong. So yeah, we can see that there is some kind of error in this next part. Okay, so I have to see the next part. So yeah, here I got the error. So we have to perform the operation only when the we are on 0. So if nums of I is equal to 0, then only we have to perform our operation. So this was the mistake. So we have to take care about all these mistakes, and now I don't think so there is any kind of mistake in our solution. So let us run it again. I hope you understood the mistake, because I missed this part. And as I told you, we have to do this operation for 0 only. So I was not doing this thing. I was not putting this condition. And you can see the cases are passing. Let us see for more cases. So yeah, all the cases are going to pass. Okay. So I will again explain the code. So basically we have first count number of 1, and if number of 1 is 0, which means the array does not contain any 1, it is only 0, then absolutely our answer is going to be 0. And if it contain 1 only, the answer is nothing but n minus 1. And this was the base case. And talking about main case, we will first, uh, after watching all these examples, uh, we can see that we are basically in order to find number of 1 before 0 and number of 1 after 0, such that number of 1 before 0 means it is after the previous 0. So number of 1 before 0 and after previous 0, and number of 1 after 0 and before next 0. So basically we are going to take the sum of these two counts. Okay, so for this we have to store number of 1 before and number of 1 after. So I have stored those values here and here, and after that I have got the sum and I have maximized it, and in this way I got answer. So I hope you understood my solution. It was a tricky question, and it was not that much hard, but some mistakes, some silly mistakes make the question hard. Like I have done the mistake here, I have forgot this condition. So this question, this little bit things make the code complicated, but if you try to understand it, you will find that the code is not that much hard and it is easy. So I hope you understood my solution, and if you understood my solution, you can like my video and you can subscribe my channel for all such videos. And the solution will be, the link of solution for this code will be given in the description. You can see there also. Thank you.